Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Would you like to thank the school board for being here tonight?
I did.
She did. And Adrian Norman, I think they'll introduce themselves and present what they have for us.
I don't have nothing to present. I'm Cindy Rice. I'm on the Chisholm School Board.
They will hear you a lot better on the recording if you use the microphone.
My name is Cindy Rice. I am a former employee, former student of Chisholm High School, and I am on the school board now. Thank you. Hi, I'm Jackie Karate-Simon, and I'm also on the school board. I'm a graduate of Chisholm, and I'm a lifetime Vulcan resident.
My name is Bob Raha. I'm the chair of the Chisholm School Board, lifelong Chisholm resident, Chisholm graduate, and I've been on the board for 22 years.
Hi, I'm Mark Casey, also a Chisholm graduate. Kids went to Chisholm. And newly, I suppose, about 6 months on the board, something like that.
My name is Danielle. I'm on the school board. I live in Vulcan. I have kids in the Vulcan district, not originally from Chisholm, but I was in a neighboring district, and so was my husband, and we have been here for about 10 years out in Vulcan.
So, I'm assuming you can hear me without a microphone, but I can use it if you'd like me to. Use it. Use it? Will do. So I'm Adrian Norman. I'm the superintendent of Chisholm School District. This is my second year there. And when I got to Chisholm, I, like everyone else, was interested in working here due to the fact that I grew up in this area. I live at Side Lake. I was born in Chisholm and really happy with the community sense. But when I got there, the math didn't add up on some things. Inherited a $400,000 deficit spend, so they were going backwards on the deal. They have about a 40% gun window project, which the 40% is beautiful. Outside of your buildings are in pretty good condition, but you have bad roofs, bad foundations, and other system failures that are on a very large scale. For example, about the third coldest day of the year, our boilers went out. And that was not a cheap fix. This past late fall, a year ago, the water main broke at the bond. We did a patch repair and just completed the entire repair for $100,000. Our complete long-term facility maintenance budget, which is for those things, is $100 grand. July 1st is when that occurs. By July 1st, we were deficit spending. That one project put us backwards for any light bulb we bought or anything else we did. So due to the age of the buildings, 2 of them over 100 years old, the structures are 2 of the oldest in the state of Minnesota in the top 10. I recall being in this exact building when it was not new. And I believe you had some of the same issues here. I remember the floor being warped, the basement had mold. We're going through the same things. You evolved, and this is beautiful. This is a great meeting place. Full kitchen, you can entertain meetings, receptions, things like that. We too need to evolve and change. Unfortunately, it's like a perfect storm. We have an economy that's not in the greatest of shape. The county just increased everyone's taxes because prices were on fire. They've never been like this before. Well, it's all starting to spiral. Problem for us is there's no great time because we continue to go backwards. And unfortunately, it falls on the taxpayer. So, we started working with a firm a couple of years ago, prior to me being there, called Ingenza. Rochelle is here, and I just want her to introduce herself so you can see the evolution of where we were and where we're going.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rochelle Vanden Heuvel, and as Superintendent Norman said, I work with a firm called Ingenza. A little bit about my background first. I have 25 years in education. I was a former superintendent in Greenway School District. I live in Grand Rapids currently. And I started with Ingenza about 3 years ago, but they are a firm, a project management firm that works with school districts. We started working with Chisholm about 2.5 years ago. And originally the conversation was around our operating levy, and that evolved into strategic planning. Because before they went out to the community, they wanted to make sure they had a good plan in place. So for the last 2 years, the district has really been focused on developing that plan. They started with strategic planning, they developed an academic strategic plan, and a financial strategic plan. And this is the district that I have seen the most progress with on their strategic plans of all the districts that we work with. They took it to heart with that academic strategic plan. They have implemented new programming, they've got new curriculum, they've hired more staff to support that strategic plan. On the financial strategic plan, a big part of that was how do we care for our facilities, knowing we have aging facilities, and we know we're going to have some really big different maintenance needs and overall building needs that we need to address. So the first step of that was to do that facility assessment process. So we've been doing that for about the past year, year and a half. We involved all of the stakeholders, we talked to staff, we talked to students, we've had community engagement meetings, we've had task force meetings, and that brought us to the plan that the board has adopted and that you're here to learn about tonight. So we'll be here to answer questions, we'll be here to help you. I'll be at the back table to help at the end of the meeting. If you want some more information about your particular parcels, I can help you with that. So I just want to say thank you for having us, and I appreciate being here.
Thank you. A great resource, could you please hand out the first column?
You bet.
Okay. A great resource for you to find out more information is on our website, which we just updated and got a new website. I believe the button is facilities planning. Has a lot of tabs on there, all sorts of different information. And I left my business card at the back. If you don't get your answers today, feel free to call me or email or stop in. So the handouts you're about to get are talking a little bit about the vote and what it means. And I searched the internet on easiest way to explain the difference. And I'm quoting a different superintendent, so I can't take credit for this, but bonds are for buildings, levies are for learning. So when you look at that in two separate questions, our operational side is the levy. You're not going to see a change in that. That is going to stay at status quo. That levy provides our school district with roughly $200,000, and we use it for curriculum and learning. The bond side, which is the building side, is what we're here to talk about and get more information on. One of the things with this project is we put a video on our website so everyone could see the conditions of the roofs and the underbelly of our buildings. I got a call from someone at the city of Chisholm that said, you need to pull your video down. And I said, I don't want to pull a video down. They need to see what's going on in these buildings. And we're giving building tours. She said, you need to pull the building down because we would consider multiple buildings uninhabitable. So I pulled the building down, but I have someone here that got to take a building tour. And she best describes it better than myself, because I'm there every day. But she actually got a chance to go and see every building, see underneath, see up above, get to see all of the areas that now are off limits according to the city.
Yes, so I was one of just a handful of people that had slid in right under what was considered a time that we could look at the buildings. So essentially we had started at the Vaughn. I should mention, by the way, I'm Shannon Chisholm. I'm a parent. I have a 11th grader. I have an 8th grader. They're in the building. So I've seen them all before throughout all of the time that they've been going to school. So I've been to the Vaughn before, I've even been to the basement before, because I've hauled down fall harvest stuff and stuck in the basement, but we went into a different room this time. We went into the room that's kind of locked and kind of taped off, and kind of room you don't want to really talk about. Essentially, so we open the door, go down the stairs, and the first thing I notice is there's a lot of 2x4s on the ground, so that you can dryly walk across the floor, which has about 2 inches of freestanding water on it, pretty much at all times. So later on, and not in a good way, but I kind of described that basement area utility room as a spa, because you could feel the humidity in the room. You could hear the water leaking, spraying in the room. You could smell it, you know, so yeah, this, not that I'm an engineer and architect, but it did not look good to me one bit. So there's a lot of cloths around pipes, there's buckets, there's a lot of mold, there's a lot of water damage. Not the kind of start you want to get to. Essentially, we worked through the rest of the facility. They were pointing out ceiling tiles in the in the Vaughn School where the humidity has affected them. They're drooping, they're sagging. They have a huge roof problem. They have a pool of water that stands on the roof that eventually will corrode the roof, leak down. They just have a lot of issues there. What I learned that day is that school is built on a spring. So they have water issues, their sub pumps, more than one, go 24/7. So then our next building that we went to was the elementary school. Former high school, I know that's some confusing for people, but the former high school now works as the elementary school for 4 through 6. So again, we started out looking in the basement of that building. It's tricky to get down there, to go around behind the locker room, the boys' locker room facility. We're even saying, you know, stop here and make sure you take a really wide step, because there's a section here that no one should actually put any weight on. I'm like, well, that's not a good thing. So jump over that, go through the building, and you can see the water, the stained walls from the water. Getting actually into the boiler room, again, there's buckets, there's cloths on pipes. You can see one of the major leaks that they had there was right over a huge electrical box. Again, does not seem very safe to me. I kind of thought to myself, I wonder if we should be wearing hard hats at this point, you know? Some of the basement still has dirt floors. Obviously, the mechanics in that room are very old. The building's about 100 years old. Some of those mechanics are original. I know that it's harder to service something that old. Not only does it cost more to repair it, but it costs more to find the specialists who can work on things like that. So every cost that they have there is a lot more money than it would be for a modern building. So we continue to go through the rest of the school. There's one storage room now that essentially was behind lockers. It was locked again too. You go in there, there's metal shelves, paper, that kind of deal. And I said to Adrian, I said, I can taste this room, because they'd just gotten over a roof leak. You know, you can see again, the water coming down the walls. You could taste the mold and everything in there, and I'm thinking, this is right by a locker bay where kids are going to, and I'm thinking, wow, this is unreal. We had gone behind the gym to the building, or to the room that I had no idea even existed, kind of their storage back there. I think it was a greenhouse maybe at some point in time. And these pictures are on their website, the ones that I'm kind of talking about. I think it's bluestreetpride.org. But you can kind of see, I mean, they're using kitty litter in some places to kind of eat up some of the moisture. You can see the insulation kind of coming down, the whole structure and everything just does not look safe, does not look sound. I did want to mention there too, I had gone down, again when I was in the basement, I looked at some classrooms, and there's one, I know it was the Indian education room there, and it's, you know, a little classroom off to the side.